Have you ever wondered, what if everything you thought you knew about Earth was wrong? Not a small detail, not a theory. I mean everything. Imagine that the planet beneath your feet wasn't a giant sphere spinning in the vastness of space, but a flat, endless surface stretching forever in every direction. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing. If that were true, the world you live in would be nothing like the one you know. Oceans wouldn't behave the same. Day and night might not exist as we understand them. And even gravity, that invisible force holding your feet to the ground, could work completely differently. And since we're about to dive into one of the most fascinating what-if scenarios of all time, make sure to hit that like button if you love exploring these kinds of ideas, and subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. Because trust me, they get even stranger. So, what would really happen if Earth were flat? Let's imagine that reality together. From the very first second of this new flat world, the laws of nature would start rewriting themselves. Today, gravity pulls everything toward the center of our spherical planet. That is why oceans stay where they are, why the atmosphere hugs us tightly, and why buildings stand upright. But on a flat Earth, gravity would have to work differently. It would pull objects straight down to the surface instead of toward a central core. That might sound like a minor change, but it would transform everything. Mountains could rise in strange, uneven shapes. Rivers might not flow toward oceans the same way, and water itself could spread across the planet's surface instead of forming the deep, round basins we know as seas. And then there's the horizon. Something you see every single day, but probably never think about. On our curved Earth, the horizon hides distant objects from view. That is why ships disappear from the bottom up as they sail away, and why we can see beyond a certain distance. But if the Earth were flat, the horizon wouldn't curve away. It would stretch out almost infinitely. With clear air and no obstacles, you could see for hundreds or even thousands of kilometers. Imagine standing in one city and spotting the faint glow of another on the distant horizon. Navigation, travel, and even our sense of scale would change completely. But that's just the beginning. A flat Earth would flip the planet's climate system upside down. The reason we have winds, storms, and seasons is because sunlight hits around Earth unevenly. That uneven heating creates pressure differences, drives air circulation, and powers ocean currents. But if the Earth were flat, the distribution of sunlight would be wildly different. Some regions could exist in constant daylight, while others might live under a permanent twilight. Seasonal changes might disappear entirely, replaced by zones of extreme and unchanging climates. And without the Coriolis effect caused by Earth-ES rotation, storms like hurricanes wouldn't form the way they do now. Ocean currents could stall or move unpredictably, reshaping coastlines and ecosystems. Now imagine what happens today and night. On a spherical planet, Earth's rotation gives us a predictable rhythm. Sunrise, sunset, day and night. On a flat Earth, the sun would probably move in a circular path above the surface, like a spotlight. That means some places could experience days that last for weeks, while others might barely see the sun at all. Life, plants, animals, and even human biology would have to adapt to these strange cycles, or might never evolve as it did here. And if you think gravity wouldn't affect much more, think again. On a flat surface, gravity might pull everything slightly toward the center of the disk. The farther from the center you go, the more you'd feel that pull sideways. Buildings might lean inward, rivers could curve in unexpected directions, and oceans might collect in vast central basins rather than forming coastlines around continents. Even walking in a straight line could feel slightly off as your sense of balance adjusted to the subtle pull. But here's a question worth thinking about. What happens at the edge? That single thought could define the greatest adventure in human history. Would there be a colossal wall of ice surrounding the edges, holding in the oceans and atmosphere? Would there be a sudden drop into space? Or could the Earth extend forever in all directions with no edge at all? These are questions explorers and scientists would dedicate their lives to answering. And just reaching the border of the known world could become humanity life's ultimate quest. And speaking of exploration, let's talk about technology. Today, our entire global system, from communication to navigation, depends on satellites orbiting around Earth. GPS, internet signals, weather forecasting, all of it relies on orbital mechanics. But in a flat world, satellites couldn't orbit the same way. They might need to hover constantly, using continuous thrust to stay in place, or be replaced by enormous towers reaching into the sky. Space travel as we know it would be impossible, and even exploring other planets would become a far greater challenge. If you're fascinated by how technology would have to evolve in a world like this, leave a comment below. I'd love to know how you think humanity would adapt. But it's not just technology that would change. Science itself, from astronomy to geology, would have to be rewritten. Our understanding of gravity, planetary motion, and the universe is built on the idea that Earth is round. Without that, centuries of discoveries would unravel. Maps would need to be completely redesigned. Directions like north and south might not even make sense anymore. The very idea of traveling around the world would lose meaning. History books, navigation charts, and even school lessons would look nothing like they do today. And think about the cultural impact. Knowing that Earth is round reminds us that we're part of a vast universe, just one planet among billions. But if Earth were flat, humanity might see itself as the center of everything. That shift could change how we view science, religion, exploration, even our place in the cosmos. Would we still dream of reaching distant stars? Or would we believe that everything important lies here, within the boundaries of our flat world? And now, before we reach the most important part of this thought experiment, take a second to hit that like button if you're enjoying this journey. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more videos like this. And of course, subscribe so you don't miss the next What If. That's going to blow your mind. The truth is, science has already answered this question beyond any doubt. Every satellite image, every flight path, every experiment shows that our planet is not flat. It's a sphere. But thinking about what life would be like if it weren't, it teaches us something valuable. The roundness of Earth isn't just a detail. It's the reason we have oceans, weather, seasons, gravity, and a stable environment where life can thrive. It's the reason we can navigate across continents, launch satellites, and explore beyond our home planet. It's the reason our world is dynamic, balanced, and full of possibilities. So next time you gaze at the horizon, remember this. The fact that our planet is round is not just a scientific fact. It is the foundation of everything we know. And imagining a flat world isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about appreciating just how extraordinary our real world truly is. Because without that delicate curve beneath our feet, everything, absolutely everything, would be different.